Hey, Ben Brook here, coming to you today from my shop, and I want to share with you my Bushcraft Cook Kit. Now this has a fair amount of weight. As you'll see, it has a lot that's in here. But what I like about this is, I don't know, it's just satisfying. There's a sort of an old school aspect to a lot of this, as you will see. First and foremost, it comes in Stewart's Bushcraft dump pouch. I got this when I experimented with some of those box sets. I got Creek's a pocket box, and it came with the pouch, and it also came with this. This is the Whiskey Burr, which is an asymmetrical little necker, and I like it because it fits in here very easily in the outside pocket. And I use this, for preparing tinder. I can use it with cooking if I need to. I can use it to start fire. So inside the Bushcraft dump pouch, the first thing I have is my Kupilka Cup. Now, Kupilka Cup is modeled after the typical kuksa, but it's made out of a polymer of plastic and wood fiber, and that means it's really durable, and I don't have to worry about it maybe as much as I might with an actual Kupilka that I'd hand carved. The second thing in there is my homemade tinder pouch or fire kit, and I'll show you what I have in here in just a moment. First thing I have is this little buckskin bag. Inside the buckskin bag I have a flint and steel kit. This flint and steel kit is comprised of my own homemade char cloth, a flint rock that I got along with the buckskin bag from Primitive Fire, and then my flint striker, which is from Emberlit, and it is a dragon shape. So that is my little flint and steel fire kit. I also have in here a Altoids tin with a hole in the top so that I can make char cloth and other char material. In here I have a SOLKOA fire steel. I have some UCO Stormproof matches. I have some charred, slightly charred excelsior. I have a half of a Coghlans fire starter, and then a homemade fire starter here. I have a video about this elsewhere, but it's excelsior and wax, and it'll burn for quite some time. So that is also in this little pouch. This is my homemade pocket bellows. Works great for directing fire air where you want it in a fire. I also have some natural tinder. This is some birch bark. This is some pine shavings. I keep those in here if I need something else. And I have a piece of fat wood as well. So all of that goes in my homemade little pouch. All right, let me show you what I have else in my bag. First of all, I have the Bushcraft Essentials Bushbox XL stainless steel stove, and it comes in its own carrying case to keep any soot from getting there. This is a good part of the weight of the kit, but this is a rock solid, bulletproof, highly efficient stove. I absolutely love it, absolutely recommend it. This is the Blaze Bushcraft grill. I just keep it in the plastic that it came in, and this gives me options to put on rocks or logs if I want to actually grill food. If I want to have it as a stable base for a pot, I can use that. I've actually used it on top of the Bushcraft XL stove too if I didn't want to use the grill plate that came with that stove. So that's another option that I have. I do have a old Victorinox climber. Swiss Army knife. It just has, you know, tweezers, the usual kinds of things, scissors. I like to have these in a lot of my outdoor kits just as a redundancy, but as a useful kind of multi-tool. And then this is a fire steel. It's a 1/2 inch by 6 inches. I put a black walnut top on it, and I have the just a retention here so that I can put it on my belt if I want to. The idea here is that I can use this with the Corvid, the Whiskey Burr knife as a fire starter, and kicks out a lot of sparks. I like that one. Okay, this is obviously a pot handle, and I will tell you in a moment what it goes with. Okay, I have a plate. I found it's just useful to have something to put food on. This is nothing fancy. This is an MSR Alpine stainless steel plate, but I've used it a lot, really like it. I made these little stuff sacks basically to hold, you know, to keep the sooty part of the plates off. But what we have here is an MSR Alpine pot. Oops, put that backwards. That locks down, and not pot, a frying pan. It does have an aluminum insert inside the bottom of the stainless here, so it has really good heat distribution. It's kind of discolored a little bit, but it's, believe it or not, basically clean despite the looks. So that again goes in this, in here, and sits on top of that, and that prevents any kind of soot from getting on the plate. The other thing I have in there is the MSR Alpine stowaway pot. This is the 775 milliliter pot. Many of you are probably familiar with this. I use it to stow more kit inside. If you're wondering why I didn't have a Bic lighter in my fire kit, I carry it in here because I have an alcohol stove in here, and it allows me to light that easily if I want to. I also have GSI Outdoors pot scraper. This allows me to avoid having to wash pots all the time. I can scrape it really clean and get most of the food stuff out. You know, just gives me like an extra spoon if I need it to. Have an alcohol bottle, which I need to refill, it looks like. And I have a Trangia stove with simmer lid. I keep this inside a plastic bag along with the alcohol just as a redundancy. So this is the MSR pot. And then this is a little handkerchief, if you will, that I made from an old flannel shirt and a 100% cotton t-shirt. It's double lined. It gives me pretty good insulation as a pot grabber, but it also functions as a means of keeping rattle down in terms of my pot here, because it could get pretty noisy with a Trangia stove rattling around inside that. Okay, as with the other, I made a pouch for it. This fabric, I think it's actually automobile fabric. Toques use something very similar. I like it because it provides a little bit of foam padding as well as a surface that will collect dirt. This sits inside of this, okay? And then these two fit on top of here as far as the bag goes. Inside this, and I doubt you're going to be able to see this well, but inside this particular dump pouch are some pockets, and that's where fire steel goes in one, the handle for the pot goes in one, and the Swiss Army knife goes in one. So if I'm putting this back together, I put the heaviest on the back, which is the stove, followed that with the grill. Take that out, it's easier to put stuff in. Okay, plate and pot and frying pan are now in. Stick that back in the front. All right, let me put these things back together here. My flint and steel kit in this really pretty nice buckskin bag that I got from Primitive Fire. And I just wrap that around. Put those back in my container here. And then stick those things in here. My fat wood, pocket bellows, and top it off with my flint and steel kit. And yeah. Just cinch that down. That goes in the top Kupilka Cup here, in case I come across a water source. And that's it. My Bushcraft Cook Kit. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Burr out.